So today we do the development of the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland, students, it is the first endocrine gland to develop in the body. So it develops from day 20 to 24 of intrauterine life, and it gets functional by the early part of the 4th month. As you already know, this gland is important for metabolism, growth, and development. So this gland lies at vertebral level C5 to T1, and the hyoid bone lies superior to it at vertebral level C3. So there are two sources of origin of thyroid gland. So it develops mainly from the thyroglossal duct, and the dorsal superolateral aspect of the lobes, they develop from the caudal pharyngeal complex. So I would like to take you back in time when we did the caudal pharyngeal complex. We did that this is formed by incorporation of the 5th endodermal pouch into the 4th pouch. So there is a relation of the developing thyroid with the 4th pouch, and the caudal pharyngeal complex formed gives rise to the parafollicular cells, or the C cells of the thyroid gland. It is found that these cells are not present in the lower 1/3 of the gland. So that is why we say that the caudal pharyngeal complex probably contributes to the dorsal superolateral aspect of the thyroid lobes, while the major part of the gland, it is formed from the thyroglossal ducts. So somebody asks you, what is the development of the thyroid gland? You have to say thyroglossal duct, because that is the main component forming the thyroid gland, while a part of the gland, that is the dorsal superolateral aspect of the lobes, that is contributed by the caudal pharyngeal complex. So how is thyroglossal duct formed? So this is very important to understand. The medial ends of the first arches are separated by a midline swelling called tuberculum impar. So you see this pink swelling, that is the tuberculum impar, which is separating the medial ends of the mandibular arches. So this swelling, posterior to this swelling, behind this tuberculum, the endoderm gets thickened, and this thickening is depressed to form a diverticulum, which is called the thyroglossal duct. So we see here again, these are the arches, and first arch, so this is the swelling known as tuberculum impar, and behind it, the foramen cecum represents the cranial end of the thyroglossal duct. So here endodermal thickening takes place where this green dot is, and then this thickening depresses to form a diverticulum, and that diverticulum is the thyroglossal duct. So foramen cecum represents the cranial end of the thyroglossal duct. So the thyroglossal duct arises from the foramen cecum. At the caudal end, the diverticulum bifurcates. So this diverticulum, which is formed by the depression of the thickened endoderm, this diverticulum grows in the neck in the midline, and its tip bifurcates. Proliferation of cells of bifid end give rise to the two lobes of the thyroid gland. So we say that the majority of thyroid gland is formed by the thyroglossal duct. So here again we see that the endodermal thickening took place at the site of foramen cecum. It got depressed, and then a diverticulum was formed, and it grows down in the neck. Lower end bifurcates to form most of the two lobes of the thyroid gland. However, the dorsal superolateral aspect of the lobes is formed from the caudal pharyngeal complex. So this caudal pharyngeal complex we did when we did the endodermal pouches. Caudal pharyngeal complex or ultimobrachial bodies, they are formed by the incorporation of the 5th endodermal pouch into the 4th pouch. So this 4th pouch is in relation to the developing thyroid gland, and it is here that the development of the thyroid gland takes place. And students, I'll take you back in time. We did that the development of the inferior parathyroid glands was from the 3rd pouch. So from the 3rd pouch develops the thymus, and the thymus, when it migrates caudally, it takes the inferior parathyroid glands along with it, while the 4th pouch, which has given rise to the superior parathyroid gland, the superior parathyroid glands do not migrate caudally. So the superior parathyroid glands are derived from 4th pouch, while inferior parathyroid glands are derived from 3rd pouch. And you must remember that the thyroid gland, it is developing in relation to the 4th pouch. So the caudal pharyngeal complex, which is formed by incorporation of the fifth pouch into the fourth pouch, it gives rise to the parafollicular cells of the thyroid gland. So we come now to the anomalies of the thyroid gland. The pyramidal lobe of the thyroid gland. Now you see the thyroglossal duct, it rises from the foramen cecum and it goes to its definitive position where the thyroid gland lies, that is the C5 to T1 level by the 7th week of intrauterine life. Normally, this thyroglossal duct degenerates and thyroid gland is formed at its normal position from C5 to T1. Now, a part of thyroglossal duct may persist, and that is called the pyramidal lobe. And this lobe may arise from the isthmus. This pyramidal lobe may arise from isthmus or from the right or left lobes of the thyroid gland. So, this is the pyramidal lobe, which is formed by the persistence of the part of the thyroglossal duct. This projection here we can see it is rising from the isthmus. It may arise from the right lobe or the left lobe also. Then we have another term, Levator glandulae thyroidea. Now what is that? When the remnants of duct in the form of muscular or fibrous tissue extend from isthmus or apex of pyramidal lobe to the hyoid bone. So again, the remnants of thyroglossal duct are there. They give rise to the pyramidal lobe, or we may have muscular or fibrous component extending from hyoid bone to the pyramidal lobe. So that is what is called the levator glandulae thyroidea. That is the muscular or fibrous persistence of thyroglossal duct. Then we may have a lingual thyroid. So the thyroglossal duct, it starts developing from the foramen cecum. So it may happen that the thyroid gland develops in the tongue only, under the mucosa of dorsum of tongue. So that swelling, it may cause difficulty in swallowing. Or development of thyroid gland may take place anywhere along the path of the developing thyroglossal duct. So that is, ectopic thyroid tissue may be there, thyroglossal cysts or fistulae may be formed, and then carcinoma of the thyroglossal duct may also take place. So all these are the anomalies of the thyroid gland. And do mention the anomalies if you get a short note on the development of the thyroid gland. So this blue line here, it is showing the path of the thyroglossal duct. So thyroid tissue may lie anywhere along the course of the duct by the persistence of the thyroglossal duct. So we can have a lingual thyroid, intralingual thyroid. Lingual thyroid is just below the mucosa of the tongue. Intralingual thyroid is deeper. Then we have the suprahyoid thyroid, that is above the hyoid bone, which lies at C3 level. We may have infrahyoid thyroid tissue, and then thyroid tissue may be normally formed at its normal position from C5 to T1 vertebra. So all these anomalies you must take into consideration. I thank you for your availability. I appreciate it. And the next time we meet, we'll be doing the development of the tongue. So I'm signing off. Bye-bye.